What is up, guys? Doing another one down special build. Today we're doing a Dallas build. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at what I'm packing in terms of inventory. So clearly, playing as Dallas, it seems fitting for a Dallas build. Packing the M308 primary rifle. We are also packing the Bronco 44 revolver as our secondary weapon. We are using the weapon butt melee. Using the frag grenade as our throwable. The crew chief perk deck. We're also using the first aid kit deployable. Let's go ahead and look at the weapon mods that I use for these guns. Use a medium suppressor, a stability modifier, the single fire custom mod. No gadgets, extras, or sights. I didn't feel that they were necessary. Also used the Jaeger body stock. Now going on to the Bronco. We're using the accuracy boost modifier, using the ergo wooden grip, the overcompensating barrel slide, and the slimline body upper receiver. Let's go ahead and take a look at the skills that I'll be using. Of course, most of my points are going to be spent in the mastermind tree. A lot of points sunk into controller, sharpshooter. I also got first aid kits from medic. So as you can see, I have Stockholm Syndrome, hostage taker, and other things. Converts, as per usual. Stable shot, aggressive reload aced, ammo efficiency aced to kind of help the M308 a little bit. High value target ace, just to get myself a little higher up in the tree. Some throwaway points in some of the other skill trees. However, I did pick up silencer skills to boost the M308's damage just a little bit to help it get past a break point, and I had points to play with. So now, without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the gameplay. So I decided to do a Ukrainian job. And instead of doing this without AI, I decided to do this with AI since, well, to be quite honest, this build in particular isn't super optimized for pure solo play, I'm not going to lie. I just made it for fun. Dallas is the mastermind of a crew. That is a thing to keep in mind. So I felt it fitting that I led a crew on a heist. I missed my jump here because I'm a doofus. I decided to put on armor instead of just wearing a suit because I needed that little bit of extra protection. And by extra protection, I do mean like one extra shot, maybe. But some helps better than none. I do have some of the bonuses applied from in the bots beta, where enemies, not enemies, goodness gracious, where the AI can inspire you, cause you to interact with things faster, so on and so forth. Typically, I wouldn't actually recommend this build for solo play since crew chief's bonuses are more of a team-oriented type of thing. However, I actually think this build would be pretty decent to, well, I use pretty decent lightly. It would be usable if you were playing with friends or with other teammates, especially those who knew that you were running the crew chief perk deck. The bonuses it provides might be enough to kind of help your friends out a little bit, but more than anything, I think it's just kind of a fun themed build to run. Nothing particularly extremely useful about it. Of course, I'm placing these first aid kits in strategic locations so that I can be picked up by uppers at almost any point if I go down, or if I would go down, typically. Fixing the drills at ridiculous speeds due to the interaction speed boost from the AI. I picked the weapons that I did for this build because I felt like they suited Dallas pretty well, considering both of them were in the original Payday the Heist game, and are considered pretty iconic, or not necessarily iconic to the series, but for some reason, whenever the Bronco always makes me think of Dallas. And when I was thinking of what other weapons I could use, I wanted to try to use original weapons from the original Payday the Heist game. And one of such weapons, of course, was the M308, and I thought that'd be a good pairing with the Bronco, so I just went ahead and picked it up. Overall, excuse me, overall, like I said, build is generally pretty fun. Definitely had to use it on a smaller heist, though. I don't believe I had the survivability to sustain myself on a very on a extremely elongated heist. However, I didn't want to just make this the quickest hit and run I could, and then say, "Oh, look, I did this heist with this build and stuff," and then call it a day like that. I did stay around after I got the the tiara so that I could, you know, have some more actual gameplay of it. And I was actually just generally having a good time. Yeah, I like trying new things in this game a lot, especially kooky things that probably shouldn't work, but somehow end up working. Go ahead and take a convert here. So I really liked the M308 with these particular skills. My grenade got shot out of the air. This is a bit of a bummer. But with ammo efficiency and not high value target. Oh, it's the other one. I literally just said it like 5 minutes ago. Regardless, with the assault rifle, single shot assault rifle skills in the sharpshooter tree, M308 is a very potent DMR. A lot of fun to use, very satisfying to use. You know, it has incredible accuracy. It doesn't have good stability, or not good stability, I'm sorry. It has decent stability. Its concealment is pretty bad. If you need a concealable DMR, it's definitely not the way you want to go. However, it is a good DMR overall. Small magazine size, which can be kind of alleviated by the reload skills that I have. Ammo efficiency also helped in, well, surprise, the ammo efficiency of the gun overall. Its ammo pickup isn't particularly spectacular. However, it is already pretty good in its own right, and then adding ammo efficiency to that definitely made it a very ammo efficient weapon as far as I was concerned. My biggest issue that I was having trying to run this without the AI was just that I would get overrun too quickly, and I would have really no way to protect myself adequately from enemies, since I only had 3 explosives and then 2 relatively small magazine weapons. So that did cause a bit of a problem. So I mostly needed the AI just to kind of keep me from being overrun. However, since I did have the AI turned on, it also boosted the number of enemies I could spawn on the map at any given time. So there were more enemies overall. However, I didn't find it to be so much more that it was completely unbearable, and it definitely wasn't. I did just fine in this particular room. Overall, I would say this build was satisfying to use. Satisfying in the sense that I had some good fun playing it. That's actually something, you know, I tend to look for in a build. If I don't have fun playing a build, then there's no point, because, you know, at the end of the day, I am playing a game, and if I'm not enjoying myself while I'm playing it, I'm kind of defeating the whole purpose. So, uppers is, of course, on cooldown at the moment, since that dozer kind of obliterated me just a moment or two ago. Thankfully, this little rotary bookshelf, I don't know what you want to call it, is giving me some decent cover, and nobody's coming up from behind, well, except for that shield. But the AI were pretty much covering behind me, which is pretty nice. Wait a second, why isn't Jacket wearing the mask I told him to wear? Ah, I bet it's because I moved the mask in my inventory. He's supposed to be wearing the, whatever the Chinese New Year's mask was, the chicken one. The one that could basically be a Richard Begins mask. That's not important or pertinent to anything that's going on in the video, however, I just now noticed it and it's kind of upsetting me. I need to change that when I open the game back up here in a little bit. So I was going to wait for the assault wave to cool down. However, I began to notice, and this is actually something that a viewer had pointed out to me not too long ago. They had friended me on Steam, and they had asked me if the assault wave after you grab the tiara on Ukrainian job is infinite, and I was like, well, my intuition would tell me that it's not. However, I've never actually tested it or found out for myself. However, as I waited for the assault wave to end, I noticed that even though I killed a seemingly adequate amount of enemies for the assault wave to end, on top of the fact that it had already been a pretty decent amount of time since an assault wave break had ended, especially for this first assault wave, which is generally, I don't know if it's actually shorter, but due to the drama levels and some various other factors, it does cause, generally, the first assault wave ends up feeling shorter, if nothing else. So I began to notice that it wasn't ending, there was no fade, nothing was letting up. So I'm assuming that it actually does have some sort of infinite assault after the tiara is grabbed. I didn't know that. I did try looking it up in the long guide whenever the viewer had asked me that question a while back. But however, I didn't see anything concerning it, so I just didn't pay any attention. Yeah, where I am assuming at this point that there is an infinite assault. That enemy was kind of clipping into the wall and the doorway a little strangely. He's trying to go Danny Phantom on me. See if he can get a drop on me, I guess. Didn't quite work, though. Dallas is too well prepared. Being the mastermind, the Payday game. The de facto leader, if you will. I think de facto is the right term to use there. If not, oh well, it sounded cool anyway. M308 and the Bronco were also really good dozer slayers, I noticed. Both of them were high-powered enough that if I ran out of a magazine for one trying to kill the dozer, I could just switch to the other one and finish off the dozer, so long as both were reloaded. The only issue one could run into is not a very effective way of crowd controlling, like in terms of, you know, Dragon's Breath weaponry or explosive weapons, or an immediate way to deal with shields like a sniper rifle. So this build could probably be modified to have shock and awe aced, so you could deal with shields pretty easily. And you know, it could be modified even a little bit more still to kind of accommodate for some team skills. I might do more team-related builds in the future because I know that's probably what most people play, viewers of my videos included. I know there are tons of people who also do, you know, solo stuff, like pure solo stuff. But, you know, Payday, at the end of the day, is a co-op game, and so might try to expand the builds just ever so slightly. Although most of them, like I said, can be modified to take out the solo skills and apply the team skills instead. Primarily, I just mean taking points out of the Revenant tree and, like, Pistol Messiah, or not Pistol Messiah, I always call it Pistol Messiah, but, or not always, but I have a bad tendency to, sometimes. Anyway, taking points out of Messiah, and maybe even Feign Death, and putting them instead into, like, Inspire. So I decided that the assault wave probably wasn't going to end, and I just needed to book it. And I was on my way to the escape van, trying very carefully to make sure I didn't get killed by anything. And instead of laying down a first aid kit sooner, like a genius, I just let myself go down. Which, of course, this problem was going to be solved in one of two ways. Either the AI were going to come and revive me, or I was going to go into custody, and since I had a hostage, 2 hostages I believe, I just checked my tab menu a moment ago there, I was going to use Stockholm Syndrome to just automatically return myself from custody, then sprint over into the van. So sadly, no, this was not a no downs run, but it's okay. I think for running crew chief, I did okay. I did kind of cheat a little and use the AI. Get off my back, okay? Anyway. It was good fun running this build. That was my Dallas build on 1 down, solo with AI. We'll take a quick look at my stats, or I guess we looked at them already a quick moment ago. So, anyway, as usual, thank you guys so much for watching.